I'm back, soothing my VPR post-Scandival withdrawals with a full rewatch, and today it's all about Season 1, Episode 2. We get Stassi and Katie commiserating about being broke between paychecks.
I literally have overdrafted in my bank account, like -8. So I'm just like, how do I even pay for parking?
I also vividly remember those days of trying to pick up even the shittiest of shifts where you're basically just a backup, getting only a handful of tables at lunch or something, and making almost no money just so you could get that comped meal and take it home as leftovers so that you wouldn't have to go grocery shopping for one more day. They briefly talk about how much Jax sucks as a boyfriend, of course.
It's just there's so many problems that this isn't a healthy relationship. Like, it doesn't matter how much I love him.
Same old shit. But we find out that this is a 33-year-old man living with his 23-year-old girlfriend in her apartment.
For free for 6 months.
And he treats her like crap.
He doesn't come home almost every other night. He leaves me at bars, leaves me at places.
He can't even be bothered to give her a damn ride to work. She goes up to Jax at the bar, and we find out that they were both scheduled to start at 5 o'clock, and so naturally she expected them to go in together. But when she woke up from her nap, she realized that he had just left without her.
I didn't know we were going together.
When she was depending on him for a ride. Probably because she can't afford parking right now because she's paying his rent. This man is so ridiculous. At this point, they've been dating for about 2 years, so a 31-year-old got with a 21-year-old, and I'm not a big fan of large age gaps, especially when the younger person is under 25, but I feel like at least usually there's some kind of an exchange, like the older person providing stability or financial security. What is Jax providing here? Sure, Stassi acts like an entitled, spoiled brat a lot of the time, but at least she has the excuse of being young, and she's way more mature than Jax. This is so embarrassing for him on every level. I can't tell if this guy is loving the free show that he gets to eavesdrop on, or is just annoyed because he's been waiting for way too long for that subpar yet overpriced drink that Jax is making for him. He has an empty glass in front of him, so probably the latter. I would be pissed, personally, if Jax was making my cocktail at Sir. It's well documented at this point that he's kind of a shitty bartender. Give me Ariana or even Scandival over Jax any day. And of course, nothing gets past LVP, who waltzes over and tells Jax to get his shit together and keep the drama out of her restaurant.
Do you think I've got time for this nonsense? Really?
Which we all know is total bullshit. I love Lisa here. She's such a little instigator, but tries to present herself as the mediator. I don't buy that she wants to keep it out of the restaurant for 1 second, because it gives her a perfect reason to get involved with these fools' drama as the responsible adult and business person. But as a good business person, she knows that the drama is what will make the show succeed, and she is loving this. You cannot convince me otherwise. She also straight up tells Jax,
I know your job's important to you, and
I
you're
love it here.
important.
All my friends are here.
Well, I
Always.
have more allegiance to Stassi because she's been here longer.
I understand.
And she's a friend of Pandora's.
and LVP gets a lot of well-deserved heat for supporting and making excuses for the guys more than the girls. But here we get her straight up saying, if it's between you and Stassi, I'm gonna choose her. Which I love because it's Jax and he deserves it. But I will say it's kind of messed up for your boss to just tell you that no matter if you're right or wrong, they will take the side of another employee just because they like them more and feel more loyalty towards them.
Cannot win, man.
The next day, Stassi and Jax go out for lunch before work, and he tries to make some small talk about Peter's upcoming birthday party. And Stassi is not having it. She jumps right into asking him,
Where'd you sleep last night?
and Jax, master liar, answers her question with another question.
What do you think?
Kristen said you didn't sleep there.
The car.
feeling out how much she knows so that he can craft his answer accordingly.
I have a blanket and pillow, it's fine. I had to get up early and wait for the shoot anyway. It's not a big deal.
I'm not buying it, and I think it's more than likely that he slept somewhere or with someone else he wasn't supposed to, and this is just pure bullshit. Where's Detective Kristen Doty when you need her? She would have probably already checked the security tapes outside of the building. And of course, Jax goes right to minimizing Stassi's complaints.
For me to sit there and take the abuse and be up till 4 and 5 in the morning going in circles over why I'm a bad boyfriend because I didn't wash a dish is so childish to me.
She literally never once mentioned household chores. I'm really loving the confidence and directness of her telling Jax exactly what her expectations are if this relationship is going to continue.
I'm not gonna put up with some 33-year-old leaving me every night. I want somebody that has his together and doesn't give a about boys' nights and partying and this and that. Grow up. Grow up.
And she's the youngest one out of all of these people. So many women on the show didn't feel empowered enough to do this and let these men kind of treat them like trash over the years, which I get because A, they were in love, and B, look at what happened to them anytime they did stand up for themselves. They were labeled as the problem while the guys were just trying to have fun with the boys, and the mean old grouchy women were just ruining their good time. I have to remember that this was the peak of that cool girl and not like other girls era, and pop culture was very unkind and misogynistic towards assertive women who took no bullshit. I feel like after the girl power era in the 90s, the pendulum swung a little too far in the 2000s, and if you were anything but easygoing and one of the guys, aka you shut up and let men walk all over you, you would be labeled as high maintenance and a bitch. And those words, bitch, slut, whore, etc., were so common, we were all just desensitized to it. They basically tried to convince us that feminist was the bad word and it meant that you were a man-hater. I'm just so glad it's shifting back, but there's still a lot of work to be done when it comes to acceptance, equality, and inclusivity for all people of all gender identities and sexual orientations and preferences. Speaking of, it's the first Pride episode, and over at Villa Rosa, Lisa is in the midst of float prep. It's pink and fluffy and fabulous, and I fucking love it. As an avid crafter, knitter, sewer, etc., I would love to get my hands in there. Kevin Lee is living my dream. Next, we tag along to a modeling shoot with Jax and Schwartz. Am I crazy, or are these photos actually kind of good? I can see why Jax was booking some real modeling shoots in Europe and Japan back in the day. He continues, pandering to the audience, trying to get us to hate Stassi and feel sorry for him, and it's stories like this that really made us fall for it.
I mean, there's times when she's got me fired from modeling jobs. I had a commercial I had to shoot in Puerto Rico for a hotel chain. She emailed the client on my behalf and saying I can't do the job since she can't be there.
I don't know if this is true. You never know with Jax. I think he lies more than he tells the truth on average, but I do see this as something that Stassi could be capable of, and it's a wild move. Just break up already, God. We find out that Schwartz wants to be a mactor.
It's a model actor.
My apologies for only saying model in the first recap. I retract my statement. Don't want Joe to come after me with a cease and desist or something on Schwartzy's behalf. In my defense, while I've found some acting work by Sandoval and Kristen, I've never seen anything of Schwartz's. But in my research, I did stumble upon this reality TV dating show that he did called Baggage. It's hosted by none other than Jerry Springer and is one of the cringiest, craziest things I've seen in a minute. We find out that pre-VPR, Schwartz was working as a biological specimen collector, whatever that is, and
I like licking girls' teeth.
I love smelling my earwax.
ew, and that he gambled away his college tuition money online.
Got too much baggage.
Do yourself a favor and go watch this in its entirety. It's incredible. Unlike this movie, starring Sandoval and Kristen, which was so bad that you can't even watch it to roast it. And I'm not talking about their acting. I would love if it was bad acting. It's the script and the storyline itself that makes this completely unwatchable. We get a little background on the Jax Sandoval Schwartz friendship origin story.
Me, Tom Sandoval, and Jax lived together. It wasn't even an apartment, it was a frat house. Jax had partitioned off the living room with a bed sheet. Even given the shanty that he lived in, he was still pulling more girls than I have ever seen any guy pull in. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was like a rotating door, that sheet.
And I have to remember that this is also peak Jersey Shore time, when the best way to prove your masculinity and impress your buds was to sleep with as many women as possible in some of the most degrading ways possible. Just imagine this shanty setup with a bed sheet in the living room of Sandoval's nasty-ass apartment. I haven't seen Jersey Shore in a while, so correct me if I'm wrong, but at least those guys had the decency to have a boom boom room, right? I guess what Stassi was saying at lunch actually got through to Jax because suddenly he is regurgitating all of her talking points.
She made like points like, listen, stop the modeling, get your together. And I was like, all right. It was cool when, she was in college and stuff. And it's just not cool anymore.
Yeah.
As this shoot progresses, Schwartz's hair is also getting progressively worse. Like, what is happening here? They only had the budget for one hairstylist and he only had the time to do one model. Like, this cannot be a look on purpose, right? Moving on, it's Pride Parade time and the float is big and pink and flowery, and Lisa has got her matching pink dress and fabulous hat, and she looks amazing. She is a beautiful woman. It really was peak statement necklace time because LVP is in on the trend, and I'm sure hers costs thousands compared to the cheap costume jewelry that everyone else was wearing, but still. Lisa catches some of the staff drinking and she comes over and makes them dump it out, but not like out on the grass or the pavement. Lisa doesn't stand for alcohol waste.
Tip it out, put it back in the bottle. You're not drinking now, absolutely not.
Jax calls Sandoval pale by saying,
Oh, Twilight.
which I actually think is pretty funny. And Sandoval is an energy vampire, as we now know, so it works in more ways than one. We get about 5 minutes of feel-good queerness, and then it's drama time. Production knows what they're doing, and they split the group up with Jax and Sheena on one side and everybody else on the other. And Jax knows his girlfriend, he knows what's gonna piss her off, and he wasn't getting enough attention from her, so he gets Sheena to apply some sunscreen on his back. And of course, this works. Stassi freaks out.
So inappropriate.
Can someone talk some sense into him right now?
And she sends Katie and Kristen over to yell at him. And even though Kristen and Katie both went over to yell at them pretty equally, LVP singles out only Kristen to blame and calls her out for it.
If there's any kind of conflict, I can guarantee that Kristen is right in the middle of it. If it's happening, she's not involved, trust me, she soon will be.
She really hates Kristen. We get an after party at Sir, and Stassi wasn't buying in and making enough of a scene with that sunscreen stunt that production pulled, so Lisa takes it upon herself to go instigate a little more under the pretense of mediating.
Make a big deal out of Sheena.
No, I'm actually not even mad at Sheena, I'm mad at Jax.
She's always mad at Jax. What's different today? Let's go to work and we'll talk later.
You can actually hear Stassi say to her, "This is actually making me feel worse." And yes, girl, that's kind of the point. I see you, LVP. I've got my eye on you. And after this chat...
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry that this is happening right now. Wait, I don't, like, what did Lisa say, though? I'm like...
Oh, you're dramatic. You always are fighting with Jax.
Stassi goes outside and is now sobbing to Katie in the alley.
So I'm trying to just hold my together, but it's just bottled in and bottled in and bottled in.
Loving all the alley time in these first few episodes, Katie is picking up the pieces that LVP just shattered on purpose and is being a good friend and just validating her feelings. Inside, Kristen is awkwardly trying to make a little joke with Lisa, And LVP's hate for this woman is palpable. I really wish I knew the scoop here. Like, does anybody know why Lisa hates Kristen so much right from the start?
Pink is not my color.
How did you get a job here?
I wear black.
She admits that Kristen is one of her best servers, and all of these people are dramatic as hell. And as I've established a few times now, she loves that drama for ratings, so the hate that Kristen is getting does not compute for me. Next, Stassi takes Jax out back to chat about sunscreen-gate, and it goes about as well as you would expect. I'm obsessed with the innocent bystanders constantly getting caught up in the Jax-Stassi confrontations. We get another one here in this episode with this motorcycle dude who clearly hangs out for a little too long trying to overhear as much as he can. Stassi is emotional and crying, and Jax is very cold and dismissive.
I mean, don't put on the waterworks now. Just don't. It's not worth it. Why? Why
You're
do you
such
keep it
a
up?
mean person.
These two just really need to end it. Speaking of ending it, Kristen is so fed up with Tom. You can see it written all over her face as she calls him
Home skillet.
We find out that he had his license suspended, so Kristen has to drive him around everywhere like she's his mother. I'm bitch-eating crackers level with this man. Everything about him annoys me now, and I'm trying to put Scandival out of my mind for these recaps and just judge him solely on what's presented on screen, but it's really hard.
It's not funny.
I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry. Relax.
Get a license. Homie?
It's Peter's birthday, and everyone is there taking shots, having a great time, except for Jax and Sheena, who arrive a little late, separately. First, we get Sheena and Shay making an entrance, and Sheena tells Stassi that she wants to talk about sunscreen-gate. And Stassi delivers her first edgelord murder reference.
I want to talk to you later, though. No.
I would rather poke my eyes out with steaming hot needles than talk to Sheena right now. I just want to have fun with all my friends.
One of the few things left over from her angsty goth high school days. Schwartz sends a message to Jax to see where he's at, Mang. Side note, of course, Schwartzy's phone is already at 12% at the beginning of the night. His main personality trait is incompetence, but he is ahead of his time and I guess making that Mactor money because he's got an iPhone when most of the rest of them still have Blackberries. Stassi is avoiding Sheena and hiding outside with the girls, and Peter is not impressed with this. It's his birthday, and you know this wouldn't fly on Stassi's birthday. Sheena comes to apologize.
I just want to apologize if I hurt your feelings, if I offended you, if I was out of line, if I was too flirty.
Don't say if. Don't say if. If you actually are gonna have an apology and apologize to me, I'd like you to realize what you did and not say if. Do you know what I'm saying?
But overall, it goes semi-okay, way better than their first confrontation, and it's at least not worse than it was before the talk. And for the grand finale,
Happy birthday!
Jax finally arrives and beelines straight for the bar, where he decides to do all 7 shots that Schwartz ordered for the boys. 7 shots in less than a minute.
Dude, Jax! No, no! No, Jax! No, dude, that's supposed to be... Hey, that's supposed to be for everybody!
I don't care how big you are or how much tolerance you've built up to alcohol, you are going to be extremely fucked up after that.
That's a lot of shots I just did. I didn't even think about it. I just did it.
Before even saying hello to his girlfriend. It's time to grow up.
Now full of liquid courage, he goes up to greet Stassi.
What's up, little lady?
And finally, we're getting put out of our misery and the breakup is upon us.
I've done everything to make this work.
I don't want you to, like, put the foot down and be like, all right, it's over.
You need to realize what it's like to not have me.
It's been said by the cast that they were very on and off during this time, so I'm sure that Jax thought it's just another one of our fights and I'll smooth it over tomorrow.
It's a breakup, Jax.
I mean, but-
For the love of God, take it seriously.
Oh, my God. You're going to go 2 years and then just turn it off.
But Stassi is serious this time.
Not every day. It's an argument.
Exactly!
this situation. Are you kidding?
Reality is finally kind of hitting Jax,
Go get your own furniture. Go get your own TV. Go make a life for yourself.
and he starts panicking a little, realizing that he is about to not only lose his girlfriend, but also his free home, the apartment that she pays for, and if we're to take Lisa's threats earlier seriously, possibly the job that Stassi got him at SUR as well. I'm disturbed the most by the fact that this man has his car keys out and is trying to drive them home.
Let's go.
My own way home. No, I'm gonna find my own way home.
Where are you going?
Cab or something. Like,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
being
going
a
home.
douchebag. I'm not getting in the
We're
car.
going home. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm going home.
We just watched him do 7 shots in less than a minute. This man is a hot mess. And that's where they cut us off in episode 2. And I guess we'll have to wait and see if the breakup sticks. This is a tiny, brand new channel. The algorithm is not my friend. And I would so appreciate if you want to like, comment, subscribe, but only if you feel like it. Watching to the end like this helps a lot too. So either way, thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!